The humid night air hung heavy over Jacksonville, Florida. It was the kind of night that made even the streetlights sweat. Officer Michael Turner, a young man with a bright smile and even brighter future, patrolled his usual beat, a quiet residential area. He loved his job, loved serving his community. He had no way of knowing this night would be his last. A call crackled over the radio, possible burglary in progress, 2 blocks from his location. Adrenaline surged as Officer Turner flipped on his sirens and sped towards the scene. The dispatcher relayed a description: tall, thin male wearing a dark hoodie. It was a description as common as the summer mosquitoes that buzzed around Officer Turner's head. Reaching the address, Officer Turner cautiously approached the house, his hand hovering over his holster. He saw a figure matching the description sprint out from the back, disappearing into the maze of backyard fences. Officer Turner gave chase, his heart pounding in his ears, the humid air sticking to his lungs. He rounded a corner and found himself face to face with a young man, out of breath and visibly shaken. He wore a dark hoodie. Fear, or maybe it was the dim light, distorted his features. Officer Turner reached for his handcuffs, his mind already piecing together the arrest. Then, everything went black. Across town, 20-year-old Lamar Jackson sat on his porch, his chest heaving. He had just run 6 blocks trying to shake off the neighborhood bullies who'd taken to harassing him after dark. Lamar, a shy, bookish young man, couldn't understand why they targeted him. He just wanted to be left alone. He caught his breath, the fear slowly receding. As he wiped the sweat from his brow, he noticed flashing red and blue lights approaching his house. His blood ran cold. He had seen the news reports, heard the whispers about the officer shot that night. He knew, with a sinking certainty, that they were coming for him. Lamar's mother, Sarah, a woman who had endured more than her fair share of hardship, opened the door to a swarm of police officers. Before she could even register what was happening, they had Lamar in handcuffs, accusing him of murder. The trial was a blur. The prosecution painted Lamar as a dangerous thug, preying on innocent citizens. The flimsy evidence, based mostly on his presence near the crime scene and the vague description, seemed insurmountable. The jury, swayed by the emotional testimony of Officer Turner's grieving widow, returned a guilty verdict. Lamar, his eyes wide with disbelief and terror, was sentenced to life in prison. Years turned into a decade. Lamar, now a man hardened by prison life, clung to the hope that the truth would come out. His mother, her hair now streaked with gray, never gave up on him, spending every penny she had on lawyers who offered nothing but empty promises. Then came the break they had been praying for. New DNA evidence extracted from under Officer Turner's fingernails pointed to a different suspect, a career criminal with a history of violence, a man who fit the initial description of the burglary suspect. The news sent shockwaves through the justice system. The man, already serving time for an unrelated crime, confessed to the shooting, claiming Officer Turner had startled him during the burglary. He expressed remorse, but it rang hollow to those whose lives he had shattered. Lamar was exonerated, his name finally cleared. He walked out of prison a free man, but the years he had lost, the stolen youth, the despair etched on his mother's face, these were scars that no judge could erase. The city of Jacksonville grappled with the implications of the case. The tragic death of Officer Turner, a man who had dedicated his life to protecting others, had led to the wrongful conviction of an innocent young man. The community, once united in grief, was now fractured by guilt and anger. The case sparked a heated debate about police procedures, racial profiling, and the fallibility of eyewitness testimony. The national spotlight focused on Jacksonville, forcing the city to confront its own biases and the systemic issues that had contributed to this miscarriage of justice. The city settled a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with Lamar, but no amount of money could compensate for the years he had lost. He struggled to rebuild his life, haunted by the memories of prison and the knowledge that his future had been stolen because of a tragic case of mistaken identity. The tragic case of Officer Turner and Lamar Jackson served as a stark reminder of the fragility of justice. It highlighted the devastating consequences of human error, implicit bias, and the pressure cooker environment in which law enforcement often operates. The case prompted calls for police reform, including mandatory body cameras, improved training for officers, and a greater focus on community policing. It underscored the need for a more nuanced understanding of race and implicit bias in the criminal justice system. Though justice had been served, albeit belatedly, The case left an indelible mark on all involved. It served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that the pursuit of justice must always be tempered by compassion, understanding, and a recognition of our shared humanity. The shadow of doubt, the knowledge that a life had been unjustly taken and another irrevocably altered, continued to hang over Jacksonville, a somber reminder of the human cost of a system flawed.